Hello everyone, Benji-Sales here, and welcome to the July 2019 NPD breakdown and Q&A video. Today I'm going to really quickly go through the top 20 of the month and then the top 10 year to date, and then I'm going to just dive straight into Q&A because honestly, what you all ask me basically is what I cover in these videos anyways, but it's more interactive, you ask it better, and it makes feedback and breaking it down just a lot easier than hearing me drone on about things. So first, let's dive into the top 20, and really quick, I want to thank Matt Piscatella from NPD for providing these slides as well as all of the work that he does with NPD. If you don't follow him on Twitter already, make sure you do at Matt Piscatella. All right, so first, let's look at the top 20 for the month. Madden NFL 20 is your #1 plays game for the month, and that is with only a few days of tracking. So that just shows you how absolutely absurdly huge Madden is. I mean, it had literally days, not even a week of tracking, and it's, the #1 selling game of the month. Number 2, Fire Emblem Three Houses. We're gonna go, way more breaking that down in just a second. Number 3, Super Mario Maker 2. So Super Mario Maker showing strong legs, still in that top 3 position for the month. That's very impressive. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, comes in at number 4. Break that down a little bit more in just a second. Minecraft at number 5, incredible. Minecraft's seen like a major resurgence lately. I don't know if, all of you have noticed that, but not that Minecraft ever died, but it was a situation where you weren't seeing it, like really pop up super high in sales charts, and you weren't necessarily seeing like huge streaming numbers and things like that for it, but it's come back very strongly the last few months. So Minecraft on a major uptick. Grand Theft Auto 5 comes in at number 6. The Leg Monster. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, number 7, incredible. Mortal Kombat 11 at number 8. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I mean, how impressive is that, at number 10. Marvel Spider-Man, number 11, incredible, especially because that game is priced at $30 now, and this is a revenue-based chart, so it just goes to show you how strong Spidey continues to sell. Rainbow Six Siege coming in at number 12. Again, another legs monster. If you notice, a lot of these games, not new releases. It just shows like the tail end of games nowadays is so long. Like, it didn't necessarily always be that way, right? A lot of times games were really big for a month or two, and then they kind of like disappeared from the charts. But due to things like, continued support for titles for long periods of time, DLC, games as a service model, you see a lot of games like Rainbow Six Siege, for example, here, they just stay. They just keep going and going. So crazy. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 at number 13. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled at number 14. Pretty big drop, right? Red Dead Redemption 2 at number 15. The Division 2 at number 16. MLB 19 at 17. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe at 18. NBA at 19. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's nice to see that game still charting, at number 20. All right, and then really quick, your top 10 year to date for 2019 so far. Mortal Kombat 11 stays in the #1 position. Kingdom Hearts 3 is at number 2 still, incredibly impressive. The Division 2 still at number 3. Anthem at number 4, which is kind of wild considering Anthem has not been charting well for months. So it kind of shows like, that it had a pretty solid launch, and nothing's just been able to leg out past it. Not many games, I should say, because it's still at number 4. Resident Evil 2 at number 5. Love seeing that. That's my game of the year so far still. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate number 6. Red Dead number 7. Madden 20 already at number 8 with only a couple days of sales. So expect that to fly up the charts once you hit August, right? So next month's NPD report, expect Madden 20 a lot higher than number 8. Days Gone at number 9. Awesome seeing that. And MLB 19 The Show at number 10. Okay, let's dive into your Q&A because this is where we really are going to break down into the meat of this month. Whoops. Well, there's those slides. Okay, so Q&A time. Benji right here with the first question. To have 3 exclusives in the top 4 is so impressive. I didn't expect Fire Emblem Three Houses to sell that much with the shortage issue. Wow, that is incredibly impressive. So 3 of the top 4 selling games of the month of July were all Switch exclusive. I've kind of been going around saying this is the summer of Switch. That's kind of been like a tagline I've been using a bunch, and I'm sure other people are too, but it's really true, right? This summer has been kind of dead for major new releases, as is typically the case outside of Nintendo. Mario Maker 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Fire Emblem. Now we have Astral Chain coming up here really soon. Nintendo's really been having a lot of big hitting software during the summer, and it's just going to show people buy games all year round. It drives me nuts that more publishers don't put out big games during the summer because people will buy them. So yeah, I agree, Benji. It's incredibly impressive. Baby Cake in here. Whoa, Benji, didn't you predict that order? Fire Emblem 3 Heroes, Mario Maker 2, or 3 Houses, Mario Maker 2, and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 being in the top 5. You know your games very well. Well, thank you very much, Baby Caken. I hope I'm saying that right. Yes, I did predict that those would all be in your top 5. I also predicted they would all be, I believed, in your top 4, so I absolutely nailed that. One thing I did get kind of wrong, I told you I wasn't sure of, was I predicted Mario Maker 2 would be number 2 for the month and 3 Houses would be number 3 because there were extreme shortages in the US for Fire Emblem 3 Houses for about a week. Luckily, Nintendo was able to quickly rectify that and get more stock into retailers pretty quickly. It took about a week to see those restocks, and I thought that would just hurt it a little bit too much to pass Mario Maker 2 because they were pretty insane shortages. But it looks like that first shipment was large enough, and that second shipment hit really late in the tracking period. So again, that refresh also hit NPD tracking just in time, so it looks like it was enough. But thank you overall. Yeah, I'm really proud of that. A lot of people were underestimating Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I was telling people it was overperforming my expectations, and it did finish in that top 4. And yeah, I did really good with predictions, so thank you for pointing that out. All right, SpiderMonkey here. Can we say that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was successful already? I know it's more dependent on Western sales than some franchises. And then Team Caffeine here has a response to this. I believe we can. What a great game. So glad to see Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 getting such a huge response. Yeah, I agree. It did very well. So I believe it was Matt Piscatella pointed out when asked how it performed. He said that retail sales, because again, Nintendo's digital sales are not reported in this. So Fire Emblem's even higher than what we're seeing. Mario Maker 2 is even higher than what we're seeing. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is even higher. So he said, though, in terms of retail, I believe it was him. If I'm misquoting here, I'm sorry. Someone said it, but I believe it was Matt. That retail sales were comparable to Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1. And Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 was a multi-plat. It was available on a lot of platforms. And again, digital's not included in this. And this was an exclusive game. So absolutely, I think Ultimate Alliance 3 is a very big success. Yeah, and I expect it to show some pretty good legs too. So yes, to answer your question, SpiderMonkey, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is doing great. Expect to see lots of support for it over the coming months. They've already announced some of the details in the expansion pass, and I wouldn't be worried about this game at all. It's doing great. Frank Orozco here. I'm again sorry if I'm messing up your name. I know that this is a Fire Emblem post, but Mario Kart 8 and Zelda Breath of the Wild are insane. After 2.3 and 1.5 years are charting in the top 10. Crazy. Yeah, absolutely. Nintendo Evergreens are just monsters. We've kind of always known that, but it kind of became easy to forget during the Wii U era, right? Because Wii U sales were just so poor that it kind of got easy to forget how good their big franchises sell long term, right? We saw it with the Wii, for example, just insane legs on many of their games. 3DS, we definitely saw some of that as well, but the Switch to me is even more impressive than the 3DS was in terms of longevity in the charts of their games. So yeah, I mean, Mario Kart 8 and Zelda Breath of the Wild are just absurdly good. Matt here saying, so is Crash Team Racing 5, or did that see a more significant drop? And then Frank responds here saying it's 14th. Yeah, that's a huge decline. So it looks like Crash Team Racing, despite having a very strong opening month, the legs just are not comparable to what we saw with Insane Trilogy. And this was kind of what I was telling people to expect. Even though Crash Team Racing had a really large launch, I was telling people, which I don't think is a surprise, I don't think this is revolutionary, but I was, warning people, don't expect long term for Team Racing to sell like the Insane Trilogy did, because originally the racing game was never as popular as the platformers, and we're seeing that bear out as well with the remasters. Overall, though, despite a big decline, Crash Team Racing still doing very, very well. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future you see a sequel, like another Crash racing game. You're definitely going to get a new platforming game. Basically, Activision themselves have already confirmed that. But I also would not be surprised if you see another Crash Team Racing down the line. Dakota here. How did Dragon Quest Builders 2 do? I hope it did well. And then Slash response here, already Slash Briz, already shipped more than 1 million copies worldwide. So in terms of NPD, it did not do well. Dragon Quest Builders, I'm just being honest here, it did not have a good performance. Kind of was saying to not expect it to do well, and it did not. But it looks like overall worldwide, it shipped more than 1 million copies, so that's encouraging to see. But its opening NPD, at least, is not an impressive result. Alex Bailey here. What is your expectation for Fire Emblem Three Houses placement during August NPD tracking period? Well, Alex, what I can say from what I've seen so far, again, we still have basically a half of a month to go, so we'll have to see how things shake out for the next half of a month. But for now, what I'm seeing is very strong legs. Fire Emblem is not falling off a cliff like you kind of see sometimes with JRPGs. It's actually very common to see huge declines in their second month. Fire Emblem is showing very encouraging legs the first couple weeks, so we'll see how that plays out all month long. But I think Three Houses is still going to be in your top 5 for August. I really do. It's going to have some competition. Control comes out this month. Astral Chain comes out this month. Madden is going to probably still be your number 1. This is all just, this isn't my final predictions because the month's not over, but Madden's going to be there, so it's going to have some competition, but I think Fire Emblem Three Houses will still probably be top 5 in August as well. Game Whooper here. 6 of the top 10 games were for Switch, and that placement doesn't include digital sales. Insane. How did hardware do relative to your expectations? Did the new announcements slow the momentum? So this is interesting, and I have to be careful what all I say here because hardware data is not public, and I do not have any intention of leaking the numbers here. That's not what I do here, but I will analyze and break it down. So yes, in response to your question, 6 of the top 10 games being Switch exclusives, absolutely insane. And in terms of hardware, man, I got to be careful. So Switch was about in line with what I expected, but slightly worse. Not much, slightly. So I said in my predictions video that I expected Switch to be up year over year by a small amount. I was noting that I did not expect it to be anywhere near like the growth that we saw early in the year, that there were signs that Switch was slowing down a bit. That did play out, but it played out a little bit stronger than I expected. So I'll say Switch was slightly, very slightly under what I was expecting it to do. Whether that's partially because of the announcement of the Lite, very well could be, very, very well could be. In terms of PS4, it did slightly better than I expected. We'll not go into details on that, but I said I expected it to be down year over year, but not large, right? I thought the declines would be much smaller than they were early in the year, where we were seeing 30% drops on months. I will not go into exact percentages. PS4 was slightly better than I expected, and Xbox One was right where I thought it was going to be. So overall, as a total package, hardware basically what I expected. Just Switch slightly below what I thought. PS4 slightly above what I thought, and Xbox right where I expected it to be. Hope that answers your question. Kermit the Frog, Wolfenstein, what happened? Well, Bethesda, I really like Bethesda's games. I feel bad because I feel like I'm consistently coming on here and being a bit of a Debbie Downer in regards to Bethesda, but their single-player projects just are not they're just not selling. I mean, well, I don't know what their expectations are. I do not have, direct knowledge of what Bethesda is expecting out of these games, but they're not exactly performing great. So Wolfenstein Youngblood is just another one in a long series of Bethesda games that, in my opinion, are underperforming. Luckily, they have Doom on the way, and Doom Eternal is going to do very well. So that's the good news for them. But yeah, Wolfenstein is just yet another Bethesda miss. Hate to say it. Jason Billingsley. Did Fire Emblem have a chance of outselling Madden without the lack of physical copies post-launch day? Very tough to say, in terms of this month's tracking. We don't have any idea what the digital percentages are for Fire Emblem. It's very tough. I have no idea. My hunch is that probably not, even with digital. Madden probably still would have been the best-selling game, but it definitely would have been closer, right? It definitely would have been closer between the two. I mean, not having any digital included, whereas Madden did, and Madden's digital share is like 50%, is huge. So, I think it would have been closer, but my guess is that Madden would still have topped the charts. Michael here. Do you think Fire Emblem's supply shortage affected their sales greatly? Absolutely. If we're talking about the NPD tracking, absolutely. Like I said, the game was basically very difficult to find for nearly a week in the US. So there's no doubt about it that affected its sales, and it was still the biggest launch ever for a Fire Emblem game. I didn't go into the details. Let's just break it down right now. Fire Emblem Three Houses is already the second best-selling Fire Emblem game ever. Ever. It's already number 2 behind Awakening after a week and a half of tracking, and it set a franchise record for Fire Emblem launch. So it did incredible. So, but yes, it did affect the retail sales. There's zero debate on that. Absolutely, the shortages had an effect. Puzz Solver here. What are the numbers that we have for Fire Emblem Three Houses? Well, we know that Japan is over 200,000. We know the U.S. is, Daniel mentioned on I'm not going to go into that. Never mind. They're good. I'm not going to go into units. Here's what I'll say. Puzzle Solver. I have reason to believe the game is already through 1 million sold. I'm very, very strong that Fire Emblem Three Houses already passed 1 million. Samuel Adams here. What would you think the ratio is between physical and digital sales, all things considered? Surely it can't be as simple 50-50, right? Yeah, I mean, no way to know for sure. My hunch is that Fire Emblem Three Houses had a record digital attach for Nintendo. I really think that. I'll be curious if they put out any PR around that, but in terms of like a big first-party game, right, not like a digital-only game, I think this is probably a record for Nintendo in terms of digital share. I'm feeling pretty strongly about that. Whether it's 50-50 or what, who knows, but I think it was real big. I think the digital share was really large. Benji here again. Any idea if Nintendo will change its stance on that? That's a great question for Matt Piscatella. I really don't know. I don't have any inside information on that. I talk to a lot of people at a lot of companies. Nintendo, I don't talk to a ton of people over there. There's a few. I have a few people I talk to from Nintendo, but I definitely talk to way more people from Microsoft and Xbox, and especially PlayStation. I have a lot of friends over in various studios and stuff for PlayStation. But Nintendo, I really don't know their stance on that. I don't know if they plan on changing that anytime soon. I'm sure Matt and NPD are working on it, trying to get them to, but I could not tell you if that's, in the works, if they plan on changing stance on it soon. I hope so, right? It's a bummer we have so many people, sharing digital now with NPD, so many that we're getting a much stronger look at what's all really selling. It was a bummer when charts were just physical and we knew digital shares were 20, 30, 40%. So Nintendo, you're not seeing the true performance out of their games, and it's a bummer. I really hope they change that stance, but no idea if it's coming. And that's it. That's going to wrap it up, everyone. thank you for watching my July NPD breakdown video. Thanks for the questions as always. I love breaking them all down. You all are all so interactive and engaging, and I personally think I have the best followers on Twitter. Straight up, I'm not really just kissing your butt saying that. I really truly believe it. Very little toxicity amongst you guys and gals. You're all super respectful like 99% of the time. Lots of great questions and interacting. So thank you so much. It's awesome. Whenever I did this whole Twitter experiment, and YouTube, I had no idea how it was going to go. I didn't know if this was going to be a very short-lived stint, like people were just going to be really rude, and it's been awesome. So thanks everyone for the questions. You're all amazing. Follow me on Twitter if you don't already. I am at Benji-Sales. That's where I do the vast majority of my talking, but I love making YouTube videos as well. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and come back for more. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next video.